All right, we should be live for the Monday night team battle representing Alabama. We are the second ranked team here behind Memphis so far. We did not win last week, but we have won several times before, so we're looking to renew the streak. Looks like there are 7 teams with players. Louisiana had a player in, but they left, so we'll see how this goes. Right now, I am seeded number 8. Third for the team. Oh, now 9th overall. Probably not going to do too much berserking, but we'll see how the team's doing. This is a team event, so we may have to sacrifice some rating for the greater good. It starts in about 15 seconds now. And
10, 9, 8,
here we go.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Okay, and we're off. We have the black pieces in game number 1. Playing against the London system. And we're going to just trade queens here. Most likely. Oh, he backs up. Okay, he doesn't want the queen trade. Let's see. I think, does e6 make sense then? Not sure if I've ever played this position and they haven't traded queens. Bishop f5 doesn't work here because the rook isn't trapped. I could play bishop g4 with the idea of rerouting back to g6. That gets the bishop out. Let's try that. Looks interesting. The time control is 10 plus 5, so not a super fast time control. Okay, they're playing b3. Guess we'll capture once here. And then play e6. I'd like the castle, put a rook on the c file. He is eyeing up the h7 square, but my knight should be holding it for now. Maybe this is a good opportunity to back up. Where's his knight going? The trade on c6 should be good for me. Okay, and we'll be happy to get rid of the light square bishops. Oh, well, does this work? I don't think he can take my rook here, actually, because of knight b4. Oh, but his queen's not actually attack. Okay, so if I play rook to c8, he takes my bishop, I move the knight. Yeah, I probably have to take this first. Now we're just down the exchange. So what could we have done differently there? Probably just need to capture the knight, I guess. Yeah, because my knight was guarding this square, so probably just capture his knight at some point. Okay, he took on g6, no surprise. But now I do get knight b4. The question is, does it matter? Maybe. We'll throw it on the board. At least make him think about it. You can see in this 10 plus 5 time control that the players do not use all of their time. Maybe if I would have used more time, I wouldn't have blundered the exchange. But playing fast, maybe I get an extra game in. So block the A file. I thought about jumping the D3, but then my knight's actually trapped. This pawn is pinned, so maybe there's something we can do with that. Try and throw a few tricks at him. If the knight moves, we can capture on c4. Knight here, maybe then into d3. We dropped the knight. I was thinking that I didn't want to play here, and then he moved his queen, and then I have to save the knight and lose this pawn, but that's going to be it. Alright, not our most illustrious start, but we got to play the Swiss Gambit, even in an arena. We see that Fox Valley has scored 6 points already. If we drop near the bottom of the standings, then it might be time to start berserking. You might. The way the pairings work is that your first game in the arena, you get paired very closely to your rating, and so it's a bigger risk. Typically, you want to berserk whenever you got that rating advantage. In game one, you almost never have a rating advantage, unfortunately. So I have berserked before in round one, and I don't think it's paid off. Now, if you're playing in one of the other just casual tournaments, arena tournaments they have on the site, and you join partway through, then berserking can make a lot of sense, because if you join after the start, you don't get paired based on rating. Alright, so there are 46 people in, but one of the downsides of this time control is that you got a little more wait time in between. Okay, so here's an example of someone I want to berserk. I've apparently played them 7 times and won all 7 times, so perfect opportunity to grab 3 points for the team. Now, one thing to be aware of with the berserking is that you lose half your time and any increment. So my opponent has 10 minutes plus 5 seconds, and I have 5 minutes plus nothing. That being said, I do have quite a nice position. Let's think here. I can go after the queen to start, and then we can decide what to do. And now we can think about capturing, or we can not capture. I think we're going to capture, just because I'd like to get something going down the D file. And it takes away their only developed piece. Now maybe I'll be able to create some tactics at a later point with a check. We'll just develop normally. Have to keep an eye on the clock. Yeah, he's going to look for the queen trade. But I'm only down the pawn. And as you can see, great development for it. Great development, but a lot of trades happening. Okay, doubling up here should be useful. F3 at some point. He's going to keep trading. So I'm going to let him make trades that favor me. If he wants to trade that bishop for my knight, then my bishop's going to be a very strong piece. Let's see if I can force that to happen. And I'm going to try and get in on the 7th rank here. And he's allowed that to happen. Attack the e-pawn, so if rook f7 happens, we win material. Okay, come in here. So how do I get my bishop to the correct square? Maybe I just take this pawn to start. His knight's defending g7, so there's not going to be quite the quick knockout I was hoping for. Oh, we'll take there. And now where's his knight going? I just make sure I don't get my rooks trapped. And I'm going to attack his knight next. Okay, his knight runs away, so we go check. We attack the knight. And if the knight moves, we have checkmate on g7. Good game. All right, and that earns us 3 points, helping the team out a little bit. Alabama has jumped to the front. So we have 15 points as a team. The top 5 scorers for each team contribute to the team's total. So not everyone scoring points. As you can see, we have 12 players, but only the top 5, those with crowns, will be the ones scoring points. So we want to get in that top 5, or if we don't, we want it to be because other players are having a great tournament. Okay, here we're facing someone that is 2100. So whenever I face someone that's a couple hundred points above me, I like to berserk because I figure if it's a 10-minute game, I'm probably going to lose anyway. So let's try and entice them to a blitz game where I have a better chance. It's those people in the 18 to 2000 range that I am less likely to berserk. Well, really 17 to 2000. 1700 is kind of the place where I often like to berserk and often fall on my face doing so. Even on the time. So far, that is a free pawn. Trying to figure out how it's not a free pawn. All right, we're going to take it. And then guard the pawn. Is he going to get some kind of crazy pin? So queen a5, bishop d2. He's trying to do something weird like that, maybe. Yes, he is. I can take the pawn. What if I pin his knight? Then he has bishop takes. Okay. This is a crazy position. So the idea is that he has 3 attackers on this knight. I only have 2 defenders. But one of those attackers, the knight, is also pinned to his queen. I don't know if this works or not for me, but it is the type of position where I want him to do the thinking. And it looks like I've played him once before and won. So apparently I do have a winning record against him. Okay, so he's going to sacrifice like that. And then I thought I would take this first. I'm on the queen. He takes the pawn. I take the queen. He takes my queen. I take the bishop. And right now I'm up a piece. And I'm on the rook and the knight. Maybe I have some problems on e7. Maybe not. If I can castle and my king gets out of danger, that would be ideal. I'd actually like to capture this knight so that he can't play g4 and dislodge my defending of the bishop. Yep, exactly that. So we take the knight. The idea is this will keep my knight safe so that I can go ahead and castle and move this bishop. Let's go over here. And of course, he can take this pawn if he wants. Now we're going to look to I want to say try and trade rooks, but I got to be a little careful of f7 here. Okay, I'm going to actually play here so that if he takes f7, I can capture this rook. Okay, that drops his other bishop. No, it doesn't. I've got back rank issues. I missed that. Okay. So, if I take his bishop, I get back rank checkmated. I can take this pawn, though. That looks safe. Threatening a fork. Threatening this pawn. Just have to be a little bit careful in this position. Should just be winning for me as long as I'm careful. I can even throw in a check here. Just seems dangerous to do that, though. Let's just keep my back rank guarded for the moment. And now he let this fork happen. And as the pieces come off the board, my advantage will be greater. I'm actually just going to walk my king closer here. Or not. Yep, a little closer. Have to try and... Oh, that wasn't ideal. I walked right into that, didn't I? Uh-oh. Now we're in trouble all of a sudden. Very tricky by my opponent. Very tricky. I was trying to get my king over far enough to free my rook, but you could see that my back rank was an issue the whole game. Oh. Now there's not really much for my king to do. We'll see whether he can make progress or not. I'm hoping that my passed pawns make a difference. His king can't sit on this square due to my bishop checks. Okay. Where's he going? Yeah. Yeah, I guess we'll take this pawn. Oh, we had such a nice position. Any stalemate tricks? Nope. Well done by my opponent. Yep, he got us. With the old pawn fork. He got his revenge. That was a good game, though. So what can I have done differently? Maybe just play h6, try and free my back rank. But even then, got some problems on the 7th rank. Maybe I was too quick to give up my knight for the bishop. That pawn ended up being more dangerous than I expected. Okay. Oh, we've fallen to 3rd as a team also. Fox Valley and this team from Brazil were usually ahead of both of them, but it looks like they're making a push. We are still ahead of Memphis, who's our main rival. Who's leading this whole thing so far? Oh, lots of Brazil players. Okay, Here we go. Someone that we have played 5 times. Bit lower rated than us. And we're going to try and grab these 3 points. If I'm only going to win every other game, I'm going to need to get 3 points every time. Oh, got a Caro-Kann, okay. Play the Panov-Botvinnik attack. Early c4. See if he's willing to just trade here. If I can get rid of his bishops nice and early, that would be ideal. Okay, he goes backwards. Let's hit castled to start. H3 maybe. There's just some tactics that can happen with bishop takes h2 in some positions. So I'm trying to avoid those. His king's still stuck in the center, so I think I can just push like this. This knight's pinned. So we're down a pawn, but all our pieces are in great squares. His king's going to be exposed for the rest of the game. He's got to be careful not to lose some material. If he doesn't castle now, I might just play rook e1. Okay, he does castle now, so the question is, which way do we do it? Bishop captures, pawn captures, or knight captures. I think we're going to go with the knight captures. And then attack this rook. I want to get off this file with his queen. But that lets a 4 cap in here. I'm trying to get to the g4 square, but if my queen's undefended on the file, I've got to watch out for this trick. So how do we get to g4? Ah, here it is. We take the knight. And if he captures back, queen g4 and mate. And that's checkmate. Nice little tactic there. Clearing the way for our own piece. My opponent is checking, seeing if there's any way for them to stop the checkmate, and there is not. Okay. That's 6 points, so every other game so far has been a win, and we're back up to second place. Oh, these are 2 different teams. It all looked orange to me, but it's actually 2 different teams. Fox Valley and then the team from Brazil. Very similar colors. About an hour 6 left, so 24 minutes in, and we have 6 points. So that is a nice start for us. I'm pretty sure that my 2 losses I've berserked and they haven't berserked back. Well, maybe not. Here's a berserk back. Maybe I haven't been berserking them. Let's play a gambit. Let's get things going quickly. Okay, never remember what I'm supposed to do here. Let's see. I take with the pawn. He takes the bishop. Or do I just take on passant? I'm going to try and keep my bishop for the moment. But that's not a line I've seen twice in the last week, so it's about time I sat down and learned it. Yeah, pretty hard to avoid the queen trade here, which is unfortunate since I am the one down a pawn. So maybe I do have to go into some pawn takes f6 situation. But I'm not too upset with this. I clearly have a big lead in development, which is even more valuable in blitz than it is in slow chess. All right, we'll get this knight developed. Maybe go after c7. Just see how he wants to try and defend it. It's actually a bit challenging for him too. Yeah, he's going to give one of the pawns back as a result. We probably should take it. And it looks like I would be able to capture on f6 and get the second pawn back if I wanted it. Yeah, he's going to play knight e4. Makes sense. I don't want to go all the way back. So let's go to d3. But there are going to be a lot of potential forks here for my opponent. Okay, guess we'll just attack the bishop. Can I not attack his knight? That seems ridiculous. No way to attack his knight here. Wow. His knights are really guarding a lot of squares. Can I swing over to the king side? Nope, his knight has this square covered. Alright, we're going to just have to give up the exchange, I guess. That's crazy how many squares are covered. But we'll keep playing because it is a blitz game. Still anything can happen. We no longer have back rank issues. And he's down under 230. These bishops really control a lot of space with the diagonals. Pointed at his king side. Is it winning for black? Yes, but perhaps we can make it take a little long to do so. I'm controlling the entrance squares so that rook doesn't have the easiest time getting in. Thinking king g2, get myself off the back rank. And we've got a minute on the clock. So is 3 points of material worth a minute on the clock? Probably not. Wouldn't be surprised if he gives back the exchange at some point. Okay, I don't have a good way to attack his rook yet. But let's get my rook a little more active. Yep, let's just move it to an active square. I'm not sure what doubling on the D file is really doing for him. And now he's down to 1:30. Okay, I guess we're going back. He's forcing the trade of knights. I want to try and get him off the second rank. If only my rook could get active somewhere. Is that rook trapped? So I take rook, he takes rook, I take, he pins, he's still up the exchange somehow. Wow. Okay, how can I be trickier about it? I can take the knight. If I take the rook, he takes my rook. I take, he pins, yeah. Have to take the knight, unfortunately. Taking the rook just takes too much material off the board. He's down under a minute. Go after G7. Rook here's game over. Doesn't see it. Okay, we'll attack his rook. Rook here, I get a fork. Win the exchange. I'm down 2 pawns, but he's at 30 seconds. We can take that. And back. Cut off the king. Up. We lost another pawn, but he's down to 15 seconds. Check. It's not nice to flag him, but as I said before, it's a team event. We gotta do what we gotta do. Get this rook out of danger. Gotta avoid the trades. And we got him on time. Apologize to my opponent, but that is part of the game. 5-0 blitz. Okay, we are now on a streak, so that's 9 points for us. We're still second place, though. We're only 1 point behind Fox Valley, so it's close. If I berserk and win the next game, that would be worth 5 points. Less than an hour left. Waiting for another game. It's really a mix on the front page. No team is dominating right now. I'll offer the berserk if my opponent wants, and they do. Okay. So I think berserking is just, it's good for both people because the number of games you get in is really more important. Okay, capture. And c5 before he can play b4. And we'll take with the bishop. d6. d6 looks dangerous. We'll come back to e7. We'll be boring about it. Get out of that file where the rook was into another file where another rook is. All right. Retreat. Time for the queen to retreat and hide. But this position is fine for black. No real issues. Maybe my bishop belongs on d6 now. Okay, they're going to try and create something on h7, it looks like. Maybe knight f8 if I feel like it's getting a little bit uncomfortable on the king side. Uh-huh. Oh, I actually have bishop to e4 here because the knight is pinned. So if I want, I can get rid of the light squared bishop for white. The very least, we force that queen onto an awkward square. I can even take on f3 in some cases. Yep, that's what he wants to prevent. All right, let's take this. Get rid of any of those threats. Time is quite even here. And we'll bounce this knight around. Readjust the chair. Just playing quick moves here. Where's that knight trying to get to? Here, maybe? Probably should centralize my queen. Maybe even onto a light square. Well, that allows a nice knight move. Attacking the queen. Oh, there's some tactics here. There are definitely some tactics here. Okay, not quite yet, although we can attack the queen again now. There's some double rook sacrifices that look like they might get interesting. I also have some ideas of moving the knight and getting my queen in here. Yeah, there is a lot here. Maybe a knight check, depending on where this queen goes. So rook captures knight, rook captures, and then rook captures knight. Let's try it. We're going to try and do the double exchange sacrifice in order to win the queen. Rook takes, rook captures c3 now. We're on the queen. His Best move is probably taking the queen there. Yep. Okay, so are we too adventurous? I don't think so. Do I even need to save the rook yet? Can I just attack the queen again? Where's the queen gonna go? The queen can go back to d1. That I missed. Alright, we'll capture here for the start. Let's try and solidify my knight in there a bit and hit his rook. That's a pin. Is it though? It is. Yeah, so perhaps the double exchange sacrifice was not quite strong enough. The game's not over. I'll have to look at that again after. It just felt like there had to be a tactic there. So the rook can capture, or the rook can move with check, but I can capture. My idea here is to play h5 and chase the queen off this diagonal. So, okay, moves off there anyway and is still able to defend, so that's a good move. Let's just get my queen active. This move is a problem though. Maybe. Yeah, rook d3 I don't think was anything special. Check. Come back. The idea of pushing with check. And if this pawn pushes, okay. Do we push anyway? Trying to create some threats. Wow, with the king no less. He's down to 45 seconds. We've got some flagging chances again. Pin. Pin it to win it. Feels bad to trade here. Oh, he doesn't trade queens though. I think I have to trade queens. Oh, darn it. Gonna have to flag again. Of course, this only works if I have material to flag with. Oh, that helps. And that's a draw. Okay, got some pre-moving in there. Good game to my opponent. A fun game for sure. That double rook sacrifice. Double exchange sacrifice. Have to look at that again. All right, that gave us 2 points. We're up to 11 points overall. And we have retaken first place. We've got 65 points, 13 points ahead of second. And we're right into another one. I flagged this guy earlier in a losing position. And he played that line I said I need to look at, so we're going to switch it up a little bit. Play some mainline stuff. Ooh, that is unusual. Queen takes is very unusual. Queen ends up being a pretty big target on that square. This is a tricky move, trying to entice the movement of the d-pawn. Happy to give that up. And I think I want to push e5. Ooh, maybe I didn't. I was trying to create tactics on the H file, but I may have undone myself, outdid myself. I probably got too cute with the move bishop d3. It's a tricky move, but I think is better probably bishop b5 first, if we're going to be objective about it. That being said, there's still a lot of game to be played here. I'll look double. My pawn structure is pretty horrendous, though. Really couldn't be much worse. His bishop's just kind of bopping all over the place. Probably going to have to push the f-pawn here, just to guard this square. Trying not to go too passive. He's playing quite well. Definitely outplaying us here. But it is opposite colored bishops, so we're going to continue playing and make him work for it. There are really no weak pawns for us to go after, though. Don't even have many pieces or pawns I can move here. Maybe I should move this rook. I can't even get it off the file. I was going to say to try and entice this move, but my rook doesn't have anywhere else to go. I think this is probably losing, but we're going to walk in here. Not over yet. It's going to be a little bit hard for him to win that A-pawn now that my bishop has a way to get to C7. Okay. Okay. And see if I can get my king in behind it. I could have taken the c-pawn, but I don't want to give him my passed pawn. So that's what I'm trying to prevent. Now if he has to push this pawn, my king gets in. Put it on a dark square. Oh, we might actually have flagging chances again. I take, he pushes with check. He's not making things easy for me. It's the correct corner. That is not the correct corner. So we'll do this. Yeah, this doesn't look ideal. Really? Really, really, really? Yep. No way to stop that. Nicely done by my opponent. Got me in a good zugzwang there. And that is checkmate All right, on to the next one. 36 minutes left. We lost our streak. Actually, we lost it the game before with the draw, so no big deal. We are still in first place, but only by 7 points. And I think I am scoring for the team right now. Yeah, I'm the number 3 scorer, so my points do matter quite a bit. Hopefully we can get 3 more games in. That would be nice. How many so far? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7? 7 games so far. Yeah, so 3 seems reasonable. Maybe even 4 if people are berserking. And it appears my opponent is not a berserker here, so that's unfortunate. We're going to give it the old college try. Okay, capture here now that they've moved their bishop. Hit the bishop with tempo. Develop our bishop. If a3, okay, a6, so that we can play c5. It's a very reasonable position for both sides. They're trying to make it hard for me to play c5, since that's my main plan. But I think with rook c8 and even bishop e7 back, they shouldn't be able to stop it in the long run. And do I play it now anyway? Probably not. a5 to try and stop b4. That's an interesting move. Okay. I don't want to trade queens. Now I can play c5. And black should be very happy. I've got a 3-on-2 majority that's already advancing up the board. Let's go ahead and hit that with tempo. I don't know if he really wants to take that a-pawn. Okay, he does. If you insist. Do I just give up my pawns for an attack here? It's tempting. Let's see what we can create. I said we have a nice 3-on-2 majority and immediately decided to give up those pawns, but this e3 pawn is just so tempting. I'm just thinking it's going to be a lot of work for him to hold this all together. This frees up my c-rook to come over here. And then I can try and get in on the second rank. He's got to be very careful about g2 if I can get a rook down here, because that'll be pinning his f3 rook for the rest of the game. Fortunately, my opponent is moving pretty fast. Wow. They're going on the attack also. there's really no way for them to get in on the g7 square that I see. Queen e2. Well, maybe I've got to be a little bit aware of queen e2 because the rook attack doesn't look quite as strong. Then I'd have to retreat. Well, maybe that's fine. I'd be a little bit worried about my queen getting closed off there. So maybe h5 would be a stronger move to stop the queen from getting there. No, because after queen e2, h5, they could just capture. So, I guess after queen e2, I could go queen to f5. Wouldn't be my happiest move. But it would stop queen g4 for the moment. Well, now we can permanently stop queen e2. And there's some interesting things on this rook. Yeah, I really like our position now. Thought maybe he could bring his rook back in time. Now we're going to double up like this. Wow. This doesn't work, though. This is a free rook. Yeah. I didn't consider the move, and for good reason. Okay. Good game to my opponent. Fitz with a big tournament so far. 38 points. Leading the way by far. And Alabama with a nice 11-point lead so far. 28 minutes left. This is one of our higher scoring tournaments. I haven't lost 2 in a row yet. And I think we're actually gaining a little bit of rating maybe. Or close to it, at least breaking even. I also haven't faced any of the 3 titled players that are in there. "64 players in the tournament, so pretty good size. And still a lot of room for our 4th and 5th people to get some more points. Hey, how are you doing? Welcome to the stream. We'll play knight c3. Knight e7, a little bit strange. I saw you were engaged, I believe, so if that's so, congratulations. Okay, well, let's just develop normally. The knight's a little bit misplaced on g6, I think. I guess we'll just give them an isolated pawn. Maybe even queen e2. Let's wait on it. I don't think the queen trade really helps us there, so... Well, maybe it did. I guess they could retreat their bishop, though. Okay, so how do I get rid of that knight? H4, knight takes, queen takes. Is that worth giving up the pawn like that? I guess it's not really giving up the pawn because we're winning this pawn back right away. I need to get my queen to a better square. Okay, let's attack their queen first. See what they do about that. Then maybe h4, h5 is a real idea. Didn't berserk this game. They're right in the rating range where I really get punished for berserking. Okay, we can trade minors here. Since they have the isolated pawn. Knight up. Looks interesting. Is there anything to it though? Knight up, h6, knight h7, rook moves back. I don't see a checkmate or anything. Looking to bring this rook to the d file. Once this rook comes to the d file, we can have some threats on h7 again. Okay. Well, the trade of minors is going to continue to help me, because I'm playing against the isolated pawn, and I'm still able to keep these heavies on the board. Now I'm threatening to take the pawn. Knight takes, queen takes, queen takes. No, maybe I'm not. Maybe not yet. I should be threatening something in this position. Okay. Knight takes, rook takes, check. Queen takes, queen takes. That wins the pawn, it looks like. So knight takes. The idea being that it's a type of fork when we capture this rook. The queen is forced to recapture, and that removes the defender of the knight here. So now rook takes. And we're up a clean pawn. Still some work to do, of course. Try and trade queens here. Might turn into a little bit boring of an endgame. Might have to grind it out. See what they do with their knight here. Yep, I thought this might happen. And then I'm going to just stop their rook from coming in. Up a pawn, better pawn structure. This should be close to winning, if not winning. And now my rook's going to be getting active, so yeah, this should be pretty simple. If he goes after my c pawn with rook c5, I get a pass to a pawn, which is going to be way more dangerous. His king is far out of position. Maybe I should throw in this check first to try and get him onto that square. Maybe it doesn't matter. Now I'm threatening rook check and queening if he takes my pawn. The king can't really step onto the e file. I guess he can go to e7, but that's about it. Well, we'll go ahead and get ourselves another pawn here. Get our own king active. There's no rush. Let's make it so that my pawns are stopping his. Run him out of moves. Okay, we'll run around. No rush. Now my pawn can't be stopped. I said that as if it was true. But now the pawns can't advance without giving me a passed pawn. So that should be good. This advancement's going to be a bit slow since their king's going to be cut off. Let me think here for a second. I go here, they advance. I go here, yeah. Here. There we go. Walked into the pin. Okay, so not the cleanest conversion ever, but it'll do. Okay, good game to my opponent. And we are back on a streak. We have time for at least one more game. We've got a 30-point lead now. Nice large lead. Thanks mostly to Fitz. 39, 49, 51. 60 would have 68 points otherwise. Yeah, otherwise we would be in third place. So he's definitely helping the team quite a bit. We can see that third and fourth are moving up, getting some more points for us. So we've got it just about wrapped up. Let's try and get one more good game in. Maybe even break 2,000 for our rapid rating again. That would be nice. See if he wants to berserk. And he does. Okay, let's go. Don't remember if we played this against this opponent before, but we are 1-0. So if we had played it before, we ended up winning. That's a move I have not seen before. I'm just going to take it and say, watch out for bishop takes f7. Okay. We'll just castle then. You can probably hear my cat in the background. One of the cats. It's hard for him to develop here, though. He goes knight f6. Maybe we push. Capture, push. Capture. E5. Knight takes, queen takes. That doesn't seem decisive. All right, let's pull back. I know this gives up the e-pawn, but I think rook e1 should solve that. And if he doesn't play knight takes e4, e5 looks pretty powerful. Okay, it feels like there's a tactic here. Bishop takes knight, queen takes. That doesn't look ideal. Bishop takes f7, king takes f7, queen b3, check, move my knight. Maybe. Can I just leave my knight? Do I need to do anything about it? Probably. Take on f6, takes on d1. Don't really love any of these options at the moment. Bishop takes bishop b3. It's making me wonder if I should have pulled my bishop back to c4 so I had queen b3 here. That seems to be the normal response. Alright, I can't queen trade. So if he's going to force pieces to come off, I've got to keep the queens on. So bishop takes f7, king takes, knight check. Okay, here. Maybe this is just crazy, but we're going for it. And play queen c4 next on king captures. And then knight to g5. Okay, so that's a blunder. If the queen or bishop went here, I got this fork. Thought he had to run backwards. And now we get the capture here. We're threatening g7. I don't know if objectively it worked or not, but seemed close to working. Check. I think taking on g7 was probably fine also. Looking for the knockout blow. Don't see it yet. This king might have to come up to g6 now. In which case I shouldn't really need a knockout blow. Yeah, let's just go back here then. Should develop this knight eventually. Now is probably a good time. I'm threatening to push this pawn. I'm down to a minute 37, so I'm going to have to be a little quick about this. It looks like there will be one more game after this. Okay, caught up on the clock. That's good. It's going to be an easier position for white to play, so even time is a good thing. Offers the queen trade. We're up a piece. Do we want the queen trade? If I check him here, what does he do? I'm going to say no, we don't want the queen trade. Because I'm looking at the possibility of bringing my queen all the way back to c1 with check. I can always queen trade next if I want to. Yeah, and then I was thinking check here. And then maybe a rook lift. The rook is pinned. Okay, so no checkmate. But now we're up a rook. So now I just need to make sure I don't get checkmated. His knight is pinned, so that should help. Oh, that was a bad move. Queen captures. Yep, now I'm just up the exchange. Well, let's see if we can trade off some of these pieces. Oh my goodness. We just threw away everything. My rook was hanging. Now we're going to have to flag. I didn't realize he was down to 6 seconds, though. So that should work out. Okay, got him on time. A little bit of a messy finish there once I got under a minute also. All right, 4 minutes left, so this last game likely will not count. We'll see if it pairs us or not. It will be a victory for Alabama, though. Oh, it does pair us. I was going to say it might not pair us, but here we go. Let's play something a little bit different. Guess he's going to play the same thing no matter what. Now we know. Interesting. Okay. Ah, I thought I had time to play my knight there first. Ah. Nicely done by my opponent. Yeah, maybe I couldn't stop that. 2 minutes? Maybe we'll even get an extra game. Yeah, I thought I was going to play knight f6 and he was going to regret it. And I'd just give back the knight and be up. But that was not the case. Though I think my position was probably fine before then. Probably got a little bit too ambitious by playing f6. All right, we're going to go ahead and actually pause. There's less than 2 minutes left in the arena. And if I do start a game, it would not affect the standings at this point. So congratulations to all the Alabama players. First place. Second place, still technically up in the air, although Memphis does have a 5-point lead over Fox Valley. And this may be the most points we've scored on a Monday night. 21 points. Oops. Performance rating 2050, so pretty good, especially because we were berserking a good bit. It's always funny to me that berserking and bringing it to 5 minutes each counts for the rapid rating. But we'll take it. "40 seconds left. We're just going to let it play out and see the fanfare. So who ended up scoring for us? Fitz took an easy first. Isaac there in second. Champion in fourth. So that's a big performance from him because he could have played in the under 1700 if he wanted to. And then we've got Tejas in fifth. So good games, everyone. Did it not give us a little fanfare? No? Oh, does it? I thought it would give us our fanfare, but I guess not. Just going to list it like this. All right, thank you for everyone for stopping by. Thank you for the follows and the support. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Hopefully your own games went well. And good luck in your future games, and I'll see you guys next time. Have a good night.